Yo, Bronx nigga, I ain't got the floss nigga. Regular as fuck, still I get the baddest bros nigga. Check my resume, all wins, no loss.
Let's go, baby. We are here, and you guys are officially in the ozone, baby. It's your boy Omar here with my co-host, super producer Dave. Dave, another good week, man. How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. It was. Let me ask you something, Omar.
Go
Did
ahead,
it feel
shoot.
like a slow week to you? Like I don't feel like there was much news out there.
It wasn't much news. It wasn't much news, especially as we're recording. Jets won. Who cares? Giants lost another one. Who cares? I think I know what you're talking about. You might be on to something. Did something big happen over this week, or I don't know?
It's coming to me. Soto.
Wait a minute. Juan Soto. That's right. Guys, we gotta start off banging. We gotta start off big. As we discussed on the live earlier this past week. Juan Soto is officially bound for Queens. Yes. Juan Soto has decided to pass these pinstripes for the bootleg pinstripes in Queens. Guys, Juan Soto signed a record breaking 15 years, $765 million contract. Dave, this deal, just off the rip, before we get into the details, what's your initial thought on the contract itself? 15 years, 765.
You know what's crazy? So one, we knew that this was going to be a record-breaking deal. Like there wasn't anybody who could have thought that he was going to sign for anything less as far as record-breaking. But it's just when does it become the normal? Like you think of the stars coming up in a few years too, and does this just seem like a normal number, or do we hit a billion by in our lifetime? Like
Funny enough that you mentioned that, and the topic has been, it's more like, okay, yeah, that's where the salary's going, but the conversation after him signing that deal was more of what would have A-Rod would have got what would A-Rod would have gotten if he played in this era? Or Barry Bonds or those guys. Guys that I don't want to throw shade to Juan Soto. Head and shoulders better than Juan Soto. Um, but I agree. I don't know. I tell you this. Let's just run the details because it's a lot more complex than 15 for 765. Guys, what comes with this contract is a signing bonus for $75 million. So basically, Dave, Juan Soto got paid $75 million just to sign the dang contract.
just for his signature.
Just for his signature, $75 million. He has a full no trade clause, meaning he can dictate anywhere he wants to go if the Mets were to ever decide to want to trade him. He can opt out after the fifth year. So, with that opt out, which is not like your regular opt out where then he can become a free agent. No, the Mets can agree to basically negate the opt out, which would increase his salary an additional $5 million. So it'll go from 51 to 56. But I'm not done yet, bro. There's more. There's more. There's also $500,000 bonus if he were to win the National League MVP, $350,000 if he were to finish in second, and $150,000 if he finishes between third and fifth. Not to mention, if he is a multiple time MVP during his tenure with the Mets, it'll go up $1 million. Brother, I'm not done. He also gets a luxury suite, 20 20 comp seats basically for his friends and family, also including security detail for his family for home and away games. So, in essence, the deal is not really 765 if you count the opt out, the opt in, the opt out, whatever, all the fine stuff that Uncle Stevie has attached to this contract. We're looking more like 15 years, roughly about $825 million. That's crazy. Look, I was wrong about this situation. I knew Juan Soto would eventually get paid. Um, but I didn't think 765. I was on record in the pilot, and I said I don't think he gets 700 for 10. I didn't think he would get the Otani deal, but he smoked it. And, that kind of leads to what I want to talk about now, bro. And we all know that Soto's agent is Scott Boras. And Scott Boras is known he wants his clients to break records. So Otani breaks the record, 700 million, the most a players ever received. I should have known better that he wanted that for Juan Soto. And, we're talking about why did Soto go to the Mets? Man, I could give you 765 million reasons why Juan Soto signed with the Mets.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to argue. Like, look, I'm not a player, but if I was a player and I already won a championship young on a team that already got the championship on the Nationals, I'm looking for the bag, and this is the first time that Soto can really sign for the bag. So why not? Why not go for the highest paying bidder? It doesn't matter if you were the Yankees, if you went to the Dodgers. It doesn't matter as long as they paid you. It just so happened the Mets were willing to do that, and it didn't matter what number that was. The Mets were going to just offer a little bit more just to make sure they said we offered him the max.
And you nailed it. You nailed it with the whole winning in Washington. He wanted to be a free agent. You nailed it because he was offered an extension in every stop. He was offered an extension in when he was in Washington. I believe the deal was roughly over 425 million at that time. This was about 3 years ago. Uh 3 years ago. So that was still looked at like a lot of money. He was also offered an extension with San Diego and also offered an extension with the Yankees. So you could tell as you touched on, Dave, he wanted to be a free agent, and he has every right to. That's what you bust your butt for. To enjoy this process, to be courted. You know what I mean? To be wine and dine by billionaires. You know what I mean? So he deserves that. What I want to touch on is pretty much after the signing is the reaction of Met fans, and Met fans are entitled to be happy. I would never want to take that away from them as a fan. Hey, when we get players, we got Karl Anthony Towns with the Knicks. Knicks fans are ecstatic. You sign a big free agent, you're ecstatic. But my thing, though, Dave, is I sense it's a little different with this situation here because I feel like Mets fans are more happy that they took a player from the Yankees as opposed to signing a top five player in the league.
Yeah, I agree, and it's more so one of those like, ha, I got him, you can't have him. Like, you know, it
Yeah,
it's it, and this gets into something I think we may cover later on, but it's more so like you got that sibling rivalry, and it's just the little thing. And Omar, you're a brother. You had a brother growing up. You knew the little things that it was just like, ha,
I'm a
I got
little
this over
brother.
you.
I'm a little brother. I know it. Yeah, and that's the thing, and I get it. I know that and let me touch on this. It's not all Met fans. It's most, but not all. Shout out to Wagyu. It's not all of them. So I want to just clarify that from the jump. But you see on Twitter, you see the Mets universe, Yankee universe, and Yankee fans too. I'm gonna come at you guys a little bit because you guys kind of enable that behavior. But Met fans just seem to be just more happy that they took. Wait, hey, we took you. We took Soto from you guys. Let's just put it like this: Juan Soto was not a legacy Yankee. Juan Soto was a 1 year rental. The Yankees took a gamble on him. Most teams have done this in baseball. It's not the first, it's not the last time. Teams do it in sports. Little short example, the Toronto Raptors did the same thing. They brought in Kawhi Leonard, knowing Kawhi Leonard was going to leave them. They got lucky where that resulted in the NBA championship. The Yankees were 3 wins away from accomplishing that same feat. Wrong one. I don't know the camera, but you know what I mean. They made the World Series. Was it a failure? I don't think it was a failure, but they took that chance. But it's not like they stole Aaron Judge. And I felt like that's how Met fans reacted to it. More than just being happy that you got Juan Soto, Met fans are like, we took your girl and there's nothing you can do about it.
It like going back to that little brother analogy. It's more so it's just. it's petty in a sense, and it's just because you. It's been quite some time since they won a championship. 1986 was quite a long time. We're about to hit the 30-year mark, and right now it's just the little victories that they're trying to pick up. And I get it, but this is a lot
Hey,
different
brother,
from
I
winning
gotta
a
I gotta fix
championship.
you on that. I gotta fix you on that. It's
There
not
you
30,
go.
it's about to go on 40 years.
There we go.
So, and it's funny that you mentioned that, right? The Mets haven't won anything in 40 years. I know in our lifetime, the Mets really haven't been a consistent team that's gone to the playoffs every year. Okay, winning a championship is very difficult, and I'll acknowledge that the Yankees haven't won one in 15 years. But the Yankees have a history of making the playoffs, making a run. They're always there. Now, they may be a few plays short, but they're always there. Juan Soto's press conference that took place Thursday, one of his reasons, one of his reasons of wanting to join the Mets and joining the Mets was that he felt he's been watching them, obviously, you know, for the last few years, and he just knows that this is the foundation of building a dynasty. Now, we all know that is a bunch of crap. Juan Soto, and I'm going to look directly in the camera at this, and if Juan Soto's watching, or if anybody that knows Juan Soto's watching this, you signed for the bread, and it is perfectly okay that you have every right to do so, but do not insult the intelligence of sports fans, not even New York fans, sports fans, that you go out in national television and you go and tell people that you signed with the Mets because they have the foundation to become a dynasty. The Mets have made the playoffs 2 times in 8 years. I digress. I
And
digress.
and the other thing that you started, and I think this is where we move on from here. It's just okay. You signed Soto. You signed him for a record-breaking deal. What do you do from here?
Yeah. And I'll tell you this, what they could do first, they could hire him a nutritionist because he was looking a little heavy in that press conference.
Yeah,
I went on the TikTok and I got a nickname for Juan Soto, Juanito Gordito, because he was looking a little heavy in that press conference. Now, I don't know if it's a bad angle. It's been a topic. All jokes aside, he was wearing a turtleneck sweater, and I don't know why these franchises, when they put the jerseys on the players, the Oakland A's did it maybe a week before with Severino. They get these guys small jerseys. They get them the size. I guess they get them the jersey size that they're gonna play with. Now, obviously, baseball players, their jerseys is more form fitting. But if the guy's wearing a suit, or if the guy, he's wearing, get him a bigger jersey. Like, it was a bad look. It looked like Juan Soto was in Dykeman. The rumors has it that the food that was catered that day was mangú. So, that was the rumors. So, Juan Soto, I know you got your bread, but hire a nutritionist for all that money. But you know what? All jokes aside, though, brother, you did mention something, and it's about with Steve Cohen. Um, and Steve Cohen, man, he flexed his wallet, man. He flexed his wallet, and with this Juan Soto signing, brought a very valid question discussion that I want to have right now, and is: are the Mets officially the big brother in New York? I want you
and
to start off. I want your take on this before I give you mine. So, are the Mets officially the big brother in New York?
I don't think you can say that. And there's a lot of reasons for that. All right, you've been starving for this, right? This is your moment. You want to get there and you want to win a championship. I think once you start winning championships, that title can shift over to the Mets. But here's the thing: there is the other part of it. It's legacy. And at the end of the day, this is a Yankees town. And once you start winning those championships, New York fans will change their favor into whoever is winning it. And we can attest to it. If the Brooklyn Nets have won a few championships, there'd be a lot more Nets fans than there are right now. The point is, there are a lot of things that need to go and start. The dominoes need to start falling for the Mets to become the big brother. And that's Okay, you got Soto. What's next? You have to sign some other pieces. You have to get everything going. You have to win championships. Then you become the big brother.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I think this the signing of Juan Soto is a move in that right direction. I do think so. You have an owner that you know is going to fully commit to making this team better. And Coleman's mission, he stated it when he first purchased the team. He restated it on Thursday during Juan Soto's press conference that he wants to change the way that the Mets are perceived. And the Mets have this LOL stigma, just like the Knicks, just like the Jets, where, even when they're doing well or performing well, people are going to look at them and think of something bad to say. So I respect that. So I do think they're heading towards the right direction. I think, because now you coming in with the confidence, um, as a Met fan, that if you guys really want that player, you're gonna get him because you got the biggest wallet in the league. But you did touch on something too. It's not only just buying players. It's also winning. It's also, if you look at the Yankee teams after the dynasty in 2001, they brought in a lot of big name players. But they didn't result to championships. So it's about forming the right team, as you mentioned. You got to win. You can't just be the big brother because you got one slapping. No, it's a 12-round fight. You know what I mean? Because you had one good round doesn't mean the fight is over. This was not the knockout blow. The knockout blow would be now getting the right guys around Juan Soto. What do you do with Pete Alonso? You know what I mean? You still need first baseman. You still need pitching. I'm sorry. Frankie Montas and Clay Holmes ain't cutting it for y'all. That's
Yeah.
not beating the Phillies. That's not beating the Braves. That's not beating the Padres, and that ain't beating the champs. That's not beating those teams. So before I let you go on, Dave, that's who you got to worry about. And this is why we touched on it earlier about Met fans. Like, you weren't about the wrong team. You weren't about us. We
We
gonna be
don't.
all right. We play in a weaker division, a weaker league than you guys. You
Yeah.
guys got some teams you got to worry about in your own division. So does Juan Soto make them better? 100%. But you're not even the best team in your division. You got to make moves, as you touched on, Dave.
Yeah, and the thing is that, all right. So if you were to point to Yankee fans going into this World Series, or even after the World Series, what's the one thing that we felt like we could have done better at? It's pitching, and we'll touch this very soon. But the Yankees have been addressing that. Now, let's go back to the Mets. They lost to the Dodgers to get to the World Series. Do you feel like Juan Soto was the piece that you were missing to get there, or was there something else that you were lacking? Does Juan Soto improve your chances that much better? That's it. You're automatically a World Series contender. That's what you need to question. Yes, Yankees, we did want him as Yankee fans. We wanted him. We wanted him back. But we also knew there were
100%.
other pieces to address. We are now moving to another pivot and we're going the other direction. And we feel like we're addressing that route. But for the Mets, does Juan Soto solve all your problems? The other pieces that they've been signing, does that solve your problems? I'm not 100% sure.
No, and that's the thing. You also gotta when you're evaluating your team and you're bringing guys in. That's a great point, Dave. Were you a Juan Soto away from winning? And you made the National League Championship. You had a good run, but also the Braves had a lot of injuries. The Padres just had, one bounce here, one bounce there, and they don't face the Dodgers in the first round, and maybe they face the Phillies or whatever. So a lot of things play in. You can't also take the playoffs for face value. So many things. You avoided this team. At the end of the day, you got the Phillies. And the Phillies were stumbling into the playoffs. You didn't play a hot Padres team. You didn't play the Dodgers in the first round. You could have been easily bumped in the first round had you played those teams. Atlanta's going to be healthy. So it's a lot of things that factor in. And let's be honest, the guys that's being rumored for pitching right now, you're losing them. You're losing them. You know what I mean? So you got to address your team. You got to address the team before you start pumping your chest and calling yourself the big brother. Because you know what? The Yankees are going to be all right. Because once Juan Soto left, the Yankees had to think about life without Juan Soto. And you had to go instantly to plan B. And the Yankees are moving on. And they did that. And they did it big time. They got
And how
big
did?
time pitcher and Max Fried, signing Max Fried to an 8 year, $218 million deal. Let's talk about that, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, look, you said it perfectly. Juan Soto signs. Let's go with Plan B. Where do we go from here? Well, what was one of the things that the Yankees felt like they were missing this whole time going into it? We've been saying it for years. What do we need? Garrett Cole's amazing. Guess what? We need more. So the first thing they did, pitching. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, and pitching win championships. You know what I mean? It's a cliche, but it's true. Um, the Yankees needed to get athletic. They needed to address they needed to address a lot of things, and we've touched on this, Dave, in the pilot. There's a lot of things to address. Juan Soto, even if the Yankees would have re-signed Juan Soto, that wouldn't have been the finished product. The Yankees would have still had to make moves to get better. Although you lose Soto, you might take a hit, a little hit, no pun intended, in the hitting. But so what do you do then? Okay, if we're gonna take a little hit in the hitting, let's address the pitching. And that's what they did. You basically got an ace to be the second man in your rotation. Now you strengthen something that you didn't have a strength of. You basically, you're running a rotation off the top of my head that I can think of right now. Garrett Cole, Max Reed, Luis Hill, who was the rookie of the year, Carlos Rodon, Clark Schmidt, and Marcus Stroman. Now you probably say, wait, you missed Nestor Cortez, but Cashman makes another brilliant move. Trades Nestor Cortez and brings in Devin Williams from the Milwaukee Brewers. Devin Williams is arguably one of the top closers in the game. Now you strengthen the back end of your pitching. Now you can add him with, guys like Luke Weaver. You signed Johnny Loizaga. So now your pitching is
Yeah. And right now, last year he brought in 14 saves. The year before that, 36 saves. The guy's just getting better. And at the end of the day, this is one of those things that like we are addressing what we needed. The Yankees needed this, and we finally are moving the pieces. First it was always like, okay, Cashman's going to be cheap this offseason, isn't he? Yep. All right, it's another year of this. But hey, we're doing it finally. Like I'm completely happy with the moves you're making. If this is what you're cooking up, go for it. Keep cooking.
right. And you hope that he still got something brewing. And I think he does. You heard the rumors initially of Kyle Tucker. And unfortunately, I didn't think that was ever going to happen. Kyle Tucker playing for the Houston Astros. Obviously, the history between the Yankees and the Astros dating back from 2017 and the cheating garbage can scandal. And Brian Cashman's been very vocal of, let's just keep it real. His hate for the Houston Astros. So I really saw that as a long shot. However, that would have really been like one who, you know what I'm saying? But he goes to the Cubs. I do think the Yankees are going to be able to get him during the trade deadline. I don't think the Cubs are a good team, and I don't think they're going to be willing to pay him because the Yankees are in talks with the Cubs about acquiring Cody Bellinger. And that's somebody that I want to see on the Yankees. He's left-handed. He can play multiple positions. He can play center field. He can play first base. I just think him with that short porch, he has a swing tailor-made for Yankee Stadium. So I want him. I think that's something that the Yankees have to address. Cashman, you address the pitching. I think the pitching is fine. Now you got to go get some sticks for the lineup.
Yeah, I agree. There's no argument here from everything you brought up regarding Bellinger.
And I hope it comes with other moves. Now, I know things are hard. I know right now the deal is not official. They're talking about money. Yankees want the Cubs to soak some of the money up. I think he's owed about $56 million for the next 2 years. The Yankees are trying to get the Cubs to pay at least 10 of that. So I do think it happens. And if it does, we'll go live on IG and we'll talk about it. But I also think if you do get Bellinger, the Yankees still got to address third base. If you're going to put Bellinger, you put him at center field. I think we still got to address first and third base. I know I mentioned this on guys that I wanted in the pilot, Mr. Alex Bregman. I know there's been rumors. I know Yankee Twitter. I know some people are on the fence. But like I said, I'll hate you. But when you're donning the pinstripes and you can help me win, I'll forget it. I'll forgive you. I won't forget it, but I'll forgive you. So
Yeah,
I don't mind bringing in Bregman and those guys.
yeah, I agree. And the thing about that is that leading up to this, you just keep getting rumors and rumors. And Omar, you can agree. Like you've been plugged to Twitter, you've been getting these news reports and just all these rumors back to back to back, and it's just like, who do I believe? What do I believe? And I wasn't there some news this week?
News regards to what?
News about just somebody saying the wrong things and jumping the
Ah,
gun.
yeah. So about that. So I was gonna bring that up, but I didn't want to get off the script. But I'm gonna get off the script. All right, we gotta talk about this. And Shams gets shammed. So Shams is basically just the number one reporter that he states all the big rumors and gossip within the NBA. And he kind of doodled in the bed, if you ask me, Dave. He comes out, he breaks out this news of Jimmy Butler wanting out of the Miami Heat. And, there's been rumors of teams that Jimmy Butler is open to going to if he were to get traded. Houston, Dallas, Houston Rockets, the Dallas Mavericks, and I believe Golden State Warriors. But the big thing that Sean's reported was the Phoenix Suns. So a day later, Jimmy Butler's agent comes out, basically calls out Shams. And I loved it. Loved it. Because as I said about John Heyman, with this Juan Soto situation, these reporters, because they like to throw that out, oh, we're reporters, we're journalists, in which they are, but they do that in a way where they shun people like us, or they shun people who do content on sports that know their stuff too, But these guys want to jump the gun and report something so they can be the first one. And you know what? I'm happy Jimmy Butler's agent outed him out because you're not Woj. He tried to, he got hired by ESPN, so he's out here posting his stuff, and you jumped the gun and you got called out on it. Kudos to Jimmy Butler's agent. I don't know how Phoenix would get him anyway because of the whole second apron. But you know what? Shams got shammed and Omar loves it.
Yeah, Omar, I think it's time to bring you off back to script.
Oh, we getting back on script? We're getting
I
back
think
on
we're getting
script.
back on
All right.
script.
All right. It got me heated, man. These agents, and you know what, Dave? In post production, I hope you add is a picture of Juan Soto slapping John Heyman the way this press conference. So don't tell me that these reporters are not in bed with the players or whatever. So I don't
Yeah,
know. Clearly, Shams ain't. I don't know, but I'm getting back on script. I'm sorry, bro. I got a little bit off. I got a little
come,
bit hot,
come on,
but
come on. Let's bring
you
you
know what
back.
I
Let's bring you
mean,
back.
right? But right now, man, we're going weekly. We're going
Yeah,
weekly now, brother. Every
yeah, we are.
Monday, 12 noon on YouTube. Guys, we appreciate the support. We have got, you know, people have shown so much love from when we shot the pilot till now. People are following us on TikTok. Follow us on TikTok, guys. Follow us on Instagram. Follow our Twitter. And please, guys, just show some love. Subscribe to the page. Like it. Hit that bell for the notifications. It shows the support. That proves to us that you know what I mean, that you love us. You know what I mean? And a special shout out to my brother-in-law, Mr. Freddie Arias, man. He created the logo, the ozone logos and everything for us, man. Shout outs to Freddie. He's a big man. Freddie got a lot of, he's not a guy with a lot of time, man. He's the CEO of Commercial TV and Tarima TV. So we got some heavy hitters in the media world, man, really showing some love to the ozone. And he had a birthday. So happy birthday, Freddie, and happy birthday to my other brother-in-law, George. They had birthdays too. But
Happy
Dave,
birthday, guys.
it's been a great week. And I'm so excited that we're gonna be live every Monday. 12 noon, a new episode will be fresh for you. So you go, you get your lunch, sit, and enjoy the ozone. Guys, we thank you so much. Tune in next week, every Monday, 12 noon, because the ozone is here, baby. Let's go! Peace!
Yo, Bronx nigga, I ain't got the floss nigga. Regular as fuck, still I get the baddest bros nigga. Check my resume, all wins, no